Hello, everyone. It is your host of Beauty Behind the Brand, Nicole Manion here, and I'm jumping on this podcast today to talk about simplifying your life and thriving for what you actually want in life on so many different levels. So let's dive in. I've been brainstorming so many different ways to make my life simple and make my thoughts a little less busy, if that makes sense. I know a lot of us entrepreneurs are just so overwhelmed with so many decisions as well as our lives, and just being confident in those decisions we do make and making those simple little decisions in an everyday task simple and easy. Something so simple as choosing your wardrobe, picking the right colors, choosing your style. Something that actually made me want to record this podcast today was from Sif of the Dream Bigger podcast. If you haven't listened to any of her episodes, you need to check out her podcast. She's the owner and founder of Array, and it just blows my mind, some of the things that she says and how much it resonates to me. Recently, I just did a color analysis at one of our pop-up boutiques that we have at the spa. Every year we decide to open up our spa as well as our porch to allow other business owners to be able to use our audience on social media as well as our local brick and mortar location. And this wonderful woman, Kim, is doing color analysis, and it really made me think about the wardrobe and listening to Sif's podcast as well, just talking about simplifying things. And you have your go-to outfits. And I feel like with social media, so many of us are like, oh, we can't reuse that outfit, or we can't reshare that photo because we already posted a photo in that. And you are always going to have your go-to outfits, things that make you feel confident, things that make you feel good, and things that just, I don't know, just that are your style. And what she said, which was amazing advice, is for the next 30 days, take pictures of what you're wearing. Take pictures of yourself every day and what you're wearing, and really make sure you're trying. You know what I mean? Like, actually put some effort in. And what celebrities, influencers do is they actually see a lot of pictures of themselves, and that makes it easy for them to become more of a style awareness of what their go-to style is and what they love and what they want to look like. Something that I really noticed when I was in Italy as well is those key things, like whether that's a purse, a belt, a pair of shoes, the accessories with your jewelry, like having statement pieces and being able to make that versatile. One of the actual gifts I gave John for his birthday this year was a styling experience, and actually going shopping with a professional and picking out clothes that were suited to his body type, the clothes he enjoys, needing like more casual wear or more business attire, and how you can actually choose like 5 different items but wear them so many different ways, dressing them up, dressing them down. And it makes packing so much easier when we're on vacation, or if we're going back and forth from the city. Makes it really easy for us to be able to pick and choose our outfits and feel confident in them. And that's what I find on social media, as well as just the world in general, is we're just so overwhelmed with decisions and figuring out what our personal style is. I feel like I have one extreme to the next. Also living in Muskoka, like I feel like I have my golf attire, I have my walking the dog attire, I have my warehouse attire, I have my scrubs when I go into work, and then I have like maybe a few dresses or like more fancier going out clothes. But then when I go to the city, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really need to like amplify this a little bit more in my style. But when I go on vacation, I go all out. Like I think because there's just like not that small town mentality where I can just wear whatever when I want. And I need to really bring that more into my everyday. I don't know about you, but I love the feeling of when I am dressed up, when I have my hair done, I have my makeup done, especially nails, the whole thing, and how much that resonates with you and also makes you feel more present. I feel like I get so much more done in the day when I'm actually dressed for success. I'm recording more. I'm more open. I find I have more opportunities coming my way. I'm more open and ready for opportunities. And there was this woman on Instagram, I can't remember who it was, but she was like promoting like sales and opportunities on her social media and like for sales, especially women in business. And she was saying like, dress for success and opportunities will come. And I find that on the days that I'm actually manifesting and putting that into the world, that I'm like, I'm wanting business. I'm wanting someone to call me and want to like start a new distributor program or start a new wholesale program or want to go out for coffee, I'm ready for that to happen. And I'm ready to jump on a call. I'm ready for anything that happens. And I'm feeling confident in who I am in those decisions. So when I was doing this color analysis, it actually made me realize like I have things sitting in my wardrobe that I have had probably since high school, and I'm holding on to them for whatever reason. And I need to go through and really start to kind of cater to who I want to be in the future me. Same with dresses. I have so many dresses. I don't know, with the amount of weddings we've gone to in the years, my pageants, just lots of things I've been going to I felt like I needed a new dress for everything. So I've been trying to donate them, trying to sell some outfits, and trying not to have I've been actually really good. I really do hold on to my clothes that I have, and trying to wear them. Literally, I have pairs of jeans that did not come with holes in them, but I have worn them out that much that I just love them and I don't want to let them go. But now I use them for like painting clothes, or for going out at the cottage and we might get like into something like mud or whatever. Like I'll wear those clothes versus like my nice clothes. But I think those staple pieces and really knowing how to create a wardrobe is the most satisfying thing. Really go on Pinterest, try to find out who you are, the style, something that's realistic too. Like I said, when I go on vacation, I go all out. But when I'm back at home, I'm like in biker shorts and a t-shirt half the time and sandals. So really figure out something that's realistic to you and something you feel comfortable in, something that's sustainable, as well as that's going to grow with you for years to come. It's not just a trending thing that's happening. Something else is trying to find that capsule wardrobe of like certain pieces, whether that's your colors, how many different pants you have, and really make your closet something that's simple. I've been kind of going through that right now of trying to figure out an easier way. Like I like to have all my clothes hung up, and I like to have them in categories. I like to have all my athletic wear in one area. I like to have my golf clothes in the other area. Even my horseback riding stuff, I usually honestly have those ones in a drawer, but even all of my other sweaters, dresses, everything's kind of in categories. I was actually on Amazon recently and I was looking at I know they do these things for babies' clothes a lot, but they're like circular discs, or you can see them actually at a lot of stores too. They have them where the sizes, but it's a circular disc. So you could say like all of my, like it could be categorized like I have to wear black at work, for example. So I have all of my like black wardrobe with a label of like the pants, the shirts, long sleeves, and sweaters or cardigans. And then you could have like your other section of like all your blazers, and then you could have a section of all your blouses. And when I do my laundry, I try to steam things as I go. I notice if I just hang it up or I don't actually properly like take care of it, I don't end up wearing it, because in the impulse of me going out or me getting ready in the morning, I'm not steaming things and I'm not preparing myself that far in advance. But if I steam things right after I've washed them or I don't get many things actually dry cleaned, which I probably should, but a lot of the time I'll either hand wash it or throw it in the wash and then let it air dry. But really making sure that I'm setting myself up for success, that I'm actually going to wear that thing. I also like setting out my clothes in the morning. That's something else, whether that's my gym clothes, my work clothes. If I'm going out somewhere, I have things kind of pre-organized, because I do get ready very quickly. And I think the longest thing that takes me is figuring out what I'm going to wear. And usually my closet is an absolute disaster afterwards. So that's just something that I think about of like simplifying your life. Is the number one thing for me that comes to mind is definitely my wardrobe on a day-to-day, whether that's personal or business, as well as like I am going back and forth in the city a lot more and just trying to simplify that process. So it's not as like dreading and overwhelming on what to pack and what to wear. That is a whole other episode, actually, I feel like, is preparing for a trip as a business owner on how to do that. Maybe that'll be a future episode when I'm getting ready for a trip, because that is something, whether that's like business, getting things organized, whether you're gone for a week or 2 weeks, and then also while you're away, and how to kind of find that balance between actually making sure that you're present on your trip, but then also not feeling overwhelmed and kind of that fear of going back to work because things are piling up. But that's a whole other podcast topic. Something else I've been doing is I just recently have been getting my upstairs painted at our house. I decided to start painting it before the wedding, which was not an ideal situation. I think I was just trying to keep myself busy. But one of my great friends, Amanda, has been over helping me paint. And it's just been great because I find we've lived in this house for like 4 years now, and I just found like I wasn't settled. I had my office somewhat put together, but there was like furniture that was like mismatched from when John had his place, I had my place, and then we just kind of put it all together. And my office, I found I never wanted to work in it because it didn't feel comfortable. It didn't feel spacious. It just felt like everything was just kind of thrown in there. So after we painted, I just kind of moved furniture around, really gave the place like a great clean, really scrubbed the floors, obviously had the walls all done. And now I'm trying to find proper lighting fixtures, even just purging. Like I had so much paperwork and stuff that was just thrown in files that I don't even know where it came from, or stuff that my mom had given me from the house from when I was a child, like craft projects, all the things. So I really went through my office and purged. I went through so like every little piece of paper and really went through and was like, do I need this? Or I took a picture and filed it in like a Google Drive. Like I just did so many things, and I just felt so much more clear and light. Are you thinking about starting a podcast? I remember when we launched Beauty Behind the Brand, it was just an idea at first, and I didn't know where to start or what platform to use or how to streamline everything. Buzzsprout has made our lives so much easier, and I want to share some free info about it. Save $20 on your second invoice with Buzzsprout, and they will make your life so much easier. All you really need to do is upload, chat, and interview your guests, and Buzzsprout does the rest. And I went through our pantry, actually in our kitchen, because like I said, we've lived in this house for years. And yes, I have gone through our pantry and purged, but I just felt like there was just so much disorganization. I've had things that needed to be reorganized, go through expiry dates, make sure we were like cleaning out the fridge, really went through even our Tupperware containers. I'm not kidding. I went through and just like things that were missing lids, different containers that need to go back up to the cottage, or just different things that I knew needed its own home and we needed to purge and get rid of them. Another thing that I find is really satisfying to purge and to clear is your phone. Technology is something, whether you go through your Instagram and start taking like maybe unfollowing people, or you're just find that the algorithm is not showing you positive things that you want to see, or you have someone that's just toxic, that's always posting things that you just don't enjoy, you can go through and just mute those people or unfollow, or just do things that suit you best and that keep you motivated and accountable. And even social media, like I've put alarms on my phone to hopefully keep me off my phone. You can easily ignore them. That's the other problem. But I try to give myself those limits on how much I'm on my phone and how I can limit that time. And going through your pictures and videos, oh my gosh, I feel like there is so much content on my phone. I film everything in HD, which is also not good for my storage, but we have a really great system. McKenna, we use a shared album on our phones just with Apple. And then Danny and I use our Google photos, which is great too for all of our files for Muskoka Beauty. So there's just so many ways you can organize your life and simplifying things. And I'm just talking about like personal life / I guess a little bit of business things. But for me, my space needs to be clean. It needs to be organized. It needs to be functional for me to be able to have a clear mind. I swear I'm just like constantly going in every which direction. And when I feel that way, it's usually because my life is in chaos or my house is upside down. So we had a Sunday kind of reset. And I feel like that's a really important way to kind of reset your week. Even your laundry, I always try to make sure I've like washed my sheets, try to get the floors done. Also having a dog, I feel like that's definitely something you need to do. But yeah, it's just like a great way to go into the week, and also just like a reset if you've moved into a new space or you've lived in a space like me for quite some time and just need to kind of revamp things, move things around. I even moved around like some of our house plants throughout the house. Like our one plant wasn't doing that great, so I just moved it into a different window, hoping it'll come back to life. So yeah, there's just so many things, like I keep saying, that can really stimulate your life, and you can romanticize all the little small things that just make you feel amazing. And your routines are so important. I was listening to Boss Babe with Natalie Ellis, and she was actually talking about $1 million walks. Like I've mentioned, I have a little mini doodle, Millie, and I walk her a couple times a day. My morning is usually my morning meditation. And I find with those morning meditations, it sets the pace for the day. So usually I get up, I try to get up without an alarm. I do have my Hatch alarm clock, which I absolutely love, but I usually get up at a decent time every morning before the workday, and that's usually a couple hours before the spa opens. And sometimes I don't get up as early as Danny does, but usually I try to get on my computer kind of before everyone else does, so I can kind of see what's going on, expect what's happening. But my morning meditation walks, I've been listening to Joe Dispenza. I'm not probably saying that correctly, but I've been listening to a lot of his manifesting walks, and a lot of them are amazing because it makes you think of actually the science of the brain and manifesting, and how you can actually predict your future, and how you can open up that frontal lobe of your brain to actually absorb these things. And I believe it 100%. Like, I listened to one the other day that was talking about money mindset and really manifesting your wealth, profitability, all these things on like the most deepest level, and even just breathing into that as you're a walking meditation. And literally that day we had things go crazy, orders coming in. We had some like different donations for one of our corporate events that we had going on. We had people reaching out about orders. It was just insane. And even at the spa, we had a bunch of things happening, and it was all within that day. And I think it was because of literally that morning I was listening to that video, and I usually just listen to the YouTube ones a lot of the time. While I'm walking, I just have it in my little fanny pack, but I'm still listening to it as I'm walking, and I really ground myself. I'm looking at the leaves on the trees. I'm feeling the ground on my shoes, the air, I'm smelling. I'm really trying to be in the moment when I'm doing these things. The other part of my walk that I do usually in the evening with little Miss Millie is later on. And that's usually when I'm walking just behind our house here. And those are usually my $1 million walks, I like to call them. So I usually put on one of my favorite podcasts, whether that's a Boss Babe one with Natalie Ellis, or She's Interesting, or the Dream Bigger podcast. Like, there's just so many different ones I listen to. There's a couple other business ones as well that's based on product spas, as well as actual product businesses as well in e-commerce. But those are some of the ones. We can link those in the show notes below too, of some of my favorite podcasts. But that's what that $1 million walk is. It's those $1 million ideas, the $1 million business opportunities. It really gets my brain going, and it sounds crazy, but that's usually at the end of the day. It's almost like satisfying for me to close off the day with some type of business conversation. And I just feel like my day is completed. I feel like that's like my unwind. It's kind of like me changing the hat over from business. And then I get home and I start making dinner. And it's just kind of like my reset from business to real life and personal life. But that's kind of some of the key things I've noticed in my days, my routines, and things that have made a really big change in myself. I noticed last week I was looking at my Apple Watch, and I noticed my step count was not very good at all. I usually try to get over 10,000 steps a day, and I think I was reaching like 2,000 or 3,000. I noticed my scrolling was really bad, my screen time. There was just so many things, and I didn't feel good about myself. So really stay tuned to your body, your mind, your energy, and be just motivated on whether that's your space that needs to be cleaned, your phone usage, your storage, cleaning things out, whether that's purging your space, your phone, as well as just your mindset as well, getting rid of all that negativity, bringing in that positive life back into your mind that you need to move forward and be the best you. Business and personal life can be very busy and overwhelming, and I think it's important to find things that ground you and really bring you into that frequency that you need to be the best you. I always think of like that high performing opportunity and why we're not being the best we can be. That's something I have to remind myself of a lot of the time. I try to give myself those goals. Danny and I talk about that a lot. Like, what are our goals in this quarter? I had a podcast talking about that as well, but I think it's like interesting to me. It's like, okay, we've got this many months left of the end of the year, but before we know it, it's already going to be like the fourth quarter, and we've got to get these things done before moving on to that, and giving yourself that grace, because it usually does take a little bit longer than you expect, but really grind, give yourself that opportunity to actually prove yourself that you can do this. Make sure you're asking for help, make sure you're outsourcing, you're delegating, but making sure that you're actually the one putting in the work and you feel good. At the end of the day, you can lay in bed and be satisfied with everything you've done and everything you've accomplished. So that is all for today. I hope this motivated you. I've just felt this just overwhelming gratitude lately on so many levels and motivated to just level up. And I thought I would share with you. So if you found this podcast that resonated with you and it has just filled your cup up for the day, please share this with someone else who needs to hear it. And also just remember to download, subscribe, and give us a review. And thank you so much for all your love and support, everyone.